There we go.
Hey guys, Pat from Elite Action Joe Studios with Jameson.
Howdy.
And Emma for another Q&A. Emma?
Hi.
There she is. As you can see here, we have 3 figures. We're starting off with a question from a fellow you all know as Adam. Deep in TLC Bunker. Anyways, his question was, what is your favorite, who is your favorite superhero? So today, here's our favorite superheroes. Emma, why don't you discuss yours or just say who she is for those who might not know?
This one is Ghost Spider.
Ghost Spider. Jameson?
Obviously, Iron Man here.
And most of you out there know the greatest superhero of all time and agree with me, Captain
It's
America.
second favorite. Second best.
Anyway, so that was his question. So we got these up. Ours are from the Marvel Legends line, which, as far as 12-inch went, probably not the greatest line when you compare it to like Hot Toys and those kind of upscale ones. But you know what? I just put 2 kids through college, and I got 2 more to go. And so those fancy toys, just gonna have to wait. But we like these. They're pretty good. They look good for posability. I don't know about play wise. We did plan on doing working them into a stop motion one day, and we probably still will. We have also 2 different Spider-Mans, Deadpool.
I believe we have, I think I got Hulk.
Yeah, I got Hulk over there. Thor,
yeah.
Black Panther. And then this figure of Emma's is from a series of
The Marvel Rising, right?
yeah, Marvel Rising. It was a comic book and a cartoon and a line of action figures. I think they're starting to incorporate a couple of the characters from that line into some of the more what do they call the movies?
The MCU.
MCU. So we'll see. So you might see her. I mean, she was in, what was your movie? The one that you cried?
Oh,
Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. Into the Spider-Verse. She was in that, right?
Yeah, well, I didn't get to see her.
She had an emotional day because her brother, not this brother, her other brother didn't warn her that someone died. Oh, spoiler alert, by the way, somebody died.
that's a surprise.
All right, let's
for a
move these
movie.
out of the way so they don't fall or jump. All right. So, that was Adam's first question. Adam asked a bunch of questions. We had them last, but then we set those up. I think he was just gunning to get his own segment like we gave to Tom. But Tom's Spider Monkey.
No.
I mean, come on. Anyway. Kidding, Adam. You'll get your own segment one day. All right, we're going to start off with the question from Jeff at Skunkworks. Skunkworks asks, if there was one piece from your collection you would never give up, what would it be? Who wants to go first?
I'll take it from here. I think technically mine's sort of cheating here, but I'd have to say my 1/6 scale Presidents collection.
Ah, yes.
My talking presidents.
He does have a nice, I mean, that's,
I have both Bushes, Reagan, Lincoln, Truman, and then I believe, didn't we have like, because who else did they make? Because I think
they made a bunch. I think that's all the ones you have. I thought we brought down, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're cool. I think we've shown them on here before.
Yeah, we showed them when we did the shelf.
But
preview.
in a week or so, we are going to revamp the shelves, and we'll do a walkthrough. One of our plans of things I can do with one arm. So, Emma, what about you? What would you never give up?
My Sabine Wren from the Forces of Destiny.
Sabine Wren from Forces of Destiny, which is also, it's a 1/6 scale. They're a little bit shorter maybe, but they're 1/6 scale, and it is a super cool figure. Emma, maybe you'll have a segment where you could do your Marvel Rising characters one time and your Forces of Destiny when you're ready for the camera. It's not as bad as I thought. Remember, I didn't want to do it at all. Remember?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not going to camera. I'm not going to camera. Now here I am. And they're all going, get him off camera. Get him off camera.
They're begging us to get you out of here.
So mine is, I just happen to have them right on the shelf behind me. Now, there's a lot of things. That's a tough question. But I'd have to say this because this is my actual only surviving childhood G.I. Joe. Where am I in the middle there? My Sea Adventure. And I know it's not the right uniform, but it just happened to be what was on them when I found them in the rafters of the attic. And I was fortunate just to have them. So yeah, that he'd be the one thing that that I would hang on to. But thank you. That was a great question, Jeff. Appreciate it. And if you guys haven't checked out Skunk Works, which I'm sure you have if you subscribe to us, but you might want to jump over there if you haven't been over there lately and see the new fashion trend he's starting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Quite the revolutionary.
We'll move on now. Anyway,
You gotta see for yourself, that's all.
so this is a great question from Poplocks. Now, he asked this question, I think, because I told Poplocks about mine and Jay's and Emma's idea of having a huge place in some sort of warehouse called G.I. Joe World, where we have play areas set up for people. And the original thought was to have huge dioramas where you could do photo stories and photo shoots of your 1/6 scale Joes. Then I thought, well, there's people that like other stuff. These guys like smaller stuff, so we could always have another section with, for 6-inch figures and 3 3/4-inch figures. And then the girls like to bake, and I thought about, well, you add a little bakery cafe and make it like a whole thing. And so I told Cody about this idea, and if anybody wants to steal that idea from me, I'm fine with it, because yeah, it's probably not going to happen here. But if you guys want to steal it, just make it somewhere close to Pennsylvania, because that way I can drive with the kids every other day. So
Just make sure on like the Wikipedia page for it, you gave us a mention.
yeah. So anyway, so the question is, if you had a warehouse, what 4 dioramas would you build? So let's let Emma go first.
I only have one.
You only have one?
I didn't think about this. I forgot.
Okay, so she only has one. Let's say you're one.
Well, I was thinking, and I really like this one place. It's called Wildwood. It's from a video game that I play. I'm not going to say the name of the video game just because. And it's like a giant redwood forest, and it has like really green grass and like wild horses and stuff. It's really pretty. It's my favorite place in the entire game.
I think you just took one of mine, because that sounds awesome.
She just
So-
gave me an idea.
That is a good one. That's the only one you have, though, off the top of your head? What about thoughts on maybe something for smaller figures, or maybe, no, nothing? Okay. She wants to stick with that one. So, Jameson, you can go ahead. We may have
All
some
right.
of the same ones, but...
Alright, so I'd want to have like
What's happening?
a cool D-Day diorama. Because, well, it's D-Day, it's awesome.
That is a good one.
And like a big Adventure Team HQ/G.I. Joe City like base. And then the
Which
next
we're
one
going to be building
Yeah.
sometime.
because we put it off so long. And then one of the ones that most people probably wouldn't think about would be like just a little like a little shanty town. It's called like a little like Somali like terrorist village kind of thing. Because that'd be just awesome for any of like urban.
There was a map in one of our games.
Yeah, I think it's Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah, Call of Duty model. There was this. You had to do this mission where it's a shanty town. And the terrorists are coming at you. You got to work your way through. That was pretty cool. That would be a cool map.
And then I couldn't think of a fourth one because I was just blanking on it. But Emma's thing did give me an idea. Like a redwood forest would be awesome to have for G.I. Joe. Like that'd be so cool.
I like the idea of the D-Day one. I hadn't really thought that in when I made my original plan. So I'm gonna give you my 4 based on my original idea, which would have been a very large desert with maybe some good, not mountains but good mounds, but then some sort of artifacts like a rundown city where you could. The old school adventure team could look for mummies and that kind of stuff. And I would do a forest, of course. I don't know about redwoods, but definitely like a forest where you could have any sort of combat stuff, or look for cryptids like Bigfoot, of course. And then I would probably do one that was kind of sea-based, where there was some sort of aquarium you could see the front of, but behind it then you could maybe a dock or
Oh, that would be cool.
something you could roll back maybe, so it could be like look like the middle of the sea, something like that, so you can incorporate the water stuff. And then lastly, I think a smaller thing, but something with an Arctic feel. So you could do like snowmobiles and Yeti stuff. But if I ever did get the plan together and really build it, I'd also incorporate, I know I'm going over my 4, but I would incorporate for sure, because I've been watching a lot of other channels that do smaller figures, and that's okay, because these guys have a ton of 3 3/4, bunch of 6-inch. Yeah, I got my Sigma 6 guys. I have a lot of Marvel Legends, a couple other 6-inch.
Yeah.
So I think we'd have to do something, maybe a little town for some of those. I would incorporate a lot into it if that dream ever came to fruition. But feel free to steal it. You can send us free tickets, lifetime tickets. Anyway, okay, here we go. This is a very interesting one. Going back to the last question. That, in case you missed who asked that question, that was everyone.
Poplox
4583. All right. This is a really interesting question. So I shouted out Robert Rivera, and he's been giving us questions. He's got a great little channel over there. Check him out. He does some really cool.
He does some awesome dioramas.
Yeah, he does. We'll put him on the board.
Which I think he gave me a lot of inspiration for a lot of the World War II ones and stuff. That's what I was. That's where I went.
You make some really, really good stuff. But his question is very interesting because we've talked about cryptids and we've brought up paranormal here. But his question was this: do you fear buying a G.I. Joe or other object that might have paranormal attachment? Any thoughts on this one, guys?
I never really thought about it.
Yeah, that's the same. I think that kind of goes for all of us. We never really thought about it.
And now we're scared.
I'm not.
Did you guys hear that?
I'm not scared.
I mean, it'd be really interesting if suddenly like we see a G.I. Joe getting up and wandering around to set up ambushes.
Well,
fine, though.
I think I touched on that. We talked about paranormal once before, and I mentioned we were talking about ghosts, and I said how my friend Brian.
Yeah, that was in one of the Q&As.
Yeah, my friend Brian, he would always, and I believe he was, here in spirit, and it was always G.I. Joe stuff, and it would be stuff that I couldn't explain it away. And I'm going to tell you your story real quick. So Jameson and his mom one day, I used to have at the top of a set of steps a shelf with some displays on it, and I had a Mark's horse. And as they were walking up the stairs, they got to the top, and they both stopped dead, and the horse was rising up in the air.
Like he was rearing back.
And then just gently set back down on his front hooves. Now, how do you explain that? Like, it wasn't about to tip backwards. Like, those are known to like tip sideways, but never backwards. And like, it was. I wish I had seen it, but I didn't. But there was times where I'd have like 2 rows of Joes on a shelf. So this is the front of the shelf, row here, and I get up in the morning, and one of the guys from the back shelf would be on the ground, but the guys in front of him, if it would have fallen off, they would have knocked off with it. But it was just somebody reached in, took it, and dropped it on the ground.
That just reminded me of, remember that time, it wasn't G.I. Joe thing, but remember that we had whatever it was at like, some like, I don't know, little display object on that shelf at the bottom of the stairs, and it fell from like way deep in the shelf, past everything, never left any movement marks, literally just as if someone went and flipped it over.
So it's funny because me and my buddy Brian, we grew up playing G.I. Joes, so I don't think they were attached to the Joes. I think he was attached to me. But it was just funny because he always tried to say something using my Joes. But this question, if you think about like some of the spooky movies and the paranormal things, they always talk about the old-timey creepy dolls being affected, like the weird ones that you see and you get all like, you don't even like to look at them. But I never thought about...
Yeah. Because like, G.I. Joe would have even more sentimental value and like that attachment to a person.
So I don't think we fear it. I don't think, because we're all kind of in tune with ghosts.
I just like to imagine seeing a G.I. Joe, like you see a flash of it running past, and then like it sets up ambushes, like you trip on a string, it sets up.
Or we come to the Joe room one day, and one of the helicopters is just flying, and all of a sudden it's like a ghost went, oh, and sets it down right where it wasn't. I mean, oh, jeez, and get caught. And then he slips by us or something.
Actually, Speaking of paranormal, remember that time that I walked down and you and Mama had seen the white skunk? And I said that I heard a voice behind me, but there was no one.
Oh yeah, that was just a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, that was like really creepy.
Yeah, we were
but
looking out the
honestly,
window.
I wasn't scared.
We saw a white skunk in our front yard, and she came down to see it, and then she turned before she got to us. She turned around and was looking around.
No, I was still in my room when I heard the voice.
I thought you were on the
I
stairs.
was sitting on my desk,
Oh.
and I just heard it behind me. I thought maybe it's our neighbor talking. But it was like right behind me. It was creepy. But honestly, I wasn't that scared.
Yeah, we don't. I don't know. We don't mind ghosts. That was a good question because I never thought about it quite in the way of it being
because
attached.
just always think about like just those creepy, weird, old antiques and stuff.
All right. So next question comes from our friends over at Lockdown Productions. I assume you guys have checked him out because his photography is crazy. I've talked about him before, so I'm not going to bog down, but go check him out. His first question is, what is your ultimate figure or squad or vehicle? Now, he doesn't specify, and he's a 1/18th size guy, and Jay still likes that kind of stuff. So when you're talking squads, sometimes the smaller
the smaller figures do make it easier.
But I think he's asking us in general. So, Emma, is there an ultimate figure, squad, or vehicle that you'd like to have for any size or any line of your figures in particular?
I don't know what that question means.
Like, is there any one figure that you don't have in your collection? Is there one, like group of, like...
The Rebels from Star Wars Rebels?
Like,
that would
count.
be cool.
I thought you were going to say Battle Droids.
I'd say
Oh,
I thought
that
you were going to
too.
say Bad Batch. Those
Well,
are awesome
she
to have.
has half the Bad Batch. You have two guys, right? Who do you have in 6-inch?
Bandana.
Bandana.
And goggles.
And goggles.
Your
That's what
favorite and my favorite.
Yeah. And what about a vehicle?
An animal rescue jeep.
An animal? Well, you technically have one, and
Not for-
you want to custom. And we have something. Remember, last year we got it. It's a big thing that we're going to customize for your
Oh, yeah,
that team.
that.
Yeah, it's huge. When you see it, I'm
It's
actually.
like my birthday.
I've already done one for Adventure Team, and we're going to include it when we do our vehicle segment. But let's not bog down. Jay, ultimate figure, squad, or vehicle, or give us all three real quick.
Let's see. So for squad, I'd love to have like either fully kitted out like SWAT team or like Delta Force team, like full kit, all of like grappling ropes, rifles, vests, like ammo, all of that. Because it's just the coolest looking stuff to me. And then for a vehicle, I'd probably have to say like a 1/6 scale, like C-130 or something, to be honest, because that would be amazing to have. The amount of value that would have for any kind of story.
Which means if he gets that, somebody's going to have to open that G.I. Joe world I had mentioned, because it's not going to fit in this.
We have to make it fly and do actual strafing runs.
It would be huge. Okay, so for me, I think we talked about vehicle when Cody asked it, so I'm going to stick with my original 1/6 scale.
That's no fun.
Chevy Chevelle. Well, I got to change it up just for this.
Yeah, just give him a different answer. It's a different person, so give him a different answer.
I don't know how that works.
You know what? I'm going to go with Emma's. I'm going to steal one of Emma's answers that she mentioned before with a really nice, not like one of the basic Joe type Jeeps, but a apocalyptic Jeep Wrangler kind of feel, like a real cool like
up armor,
plates. Stuff like that. Figure, I'd like. Cody's got me wanting to dip into the world of the higher end figures, but I've just been resisting because, as I said, I like Hasbro because it's cheap and they're great and it's what I started with. But they are cool. So one day, maybe, upscale one of the Captain Americas from one of the upscale one, or a really cool Punisher, like maybe even the Netflix Punisher, in that. As far as squad goes, I already have my several squads, but me and Emma have been watching a lot of Star Wars stuff. We watching Rebels, and we've been playing Lego on Xbox. I would love to have a 1/6 scale, say 30 to 40 stormtroopers.
That would be awesome.
First Order or Empire?
Empire.
Empire's the original.
That's the original one,
right? Yeah, the Empire one. Just the basic storm. I just think there's.
It's just so cool looking.
And maybe not even like maybe scout troopers, just a whole squad of some sort of those troopers that we could like do a story with. Because that's the problem. You can't have a big G.I. Joe story without a big bunch of, you know. Anyway, all right, moving on. Now, second question from Lockdown Productions comes from. Now, DD is gentleman who runs Lockdown. That name, DD, comes from his daughter. And she's told me she calls him DD for Daft Dad, which is pretty funny. And other members of the family call him Peter Pan because he's the boy that never grew up, which is pretty cute. Now, I don't remember her name, and I'm sorry for that. I know your dad told me once, and I know it was in a clip once at the end. So I'm sorry that I didn't get back to write that down. But her question is, does anyone give you any nicknames? So we're going to start, and Emma, if there's any nicknames that you have for us, and then if there's none, that's fine, or other nicknames or whatever nickname you want to.
I thought it was for herself. Nickname. Give any
Yeah, I
nickname
think
for
that's
her.
what it meant. I think that's what the question meant.
No,
Question.
has anybody given you any nicknames?
Yeah, there you go.
So you're going to give us the nicknames you have
Okay.
for us.
Well, your Daddle, which is now just your name.
Right, it has become just my name, Daddle.
I call him just Jay, because...
But before that, till you got a little old, what did you call him when you were little?
Bubby.
Bubby. And it was so cute when she was telling the first time she said it. We were like, "Where's she?" And she just it stuck for years.
I didn't know where that comes from. Like
now that she's a little older, she kind of dropped off. But
I forgot that too until just
I
now.
also sometimes I call him Jaybird.
Yeah,
I got that
Jaybird.
from my sister.
Yeah. What about you? Got anything for anybody?
Well, you Daddle. I call you crazy a lot.
Yes, you do.
That's true. I don't know if that's a nickname or an adjective.
People give me plenty of nicknames, just most of them I can't say on YouTube.
So
okay.
for me, now I do have a couple nicknames, not from the family. So growing up, of course, I was really into Captain America all through, and when I worked for the airlines for a long time, it was actually printed on my safety vest because I have Captain America tattooed, and so they always called me Captain America because they would always laugh because everybody was always like, I would do things that didn't seem normal, like I could jump into the back of some of our planes without using an piece of equipment, which much younger people tried to do many times in order to get a last late bag or something on there, and so it just stuck. So in the airlines, I was called Captain America. When I was young, me and my friends, my nickname was Savage because I liked all kinds of Indian lore and stuff. So when we started all leaning towards the military, we used to go out and do board games and stuff. And I was always the point man, the scout, if you will. So they just called me that. But here, Emma, I have a lot of nicknames because I'm just weird because I like to irritate her. The one thing I call her all the time, she doesn't even, I don't even know why. I like the word applesauce. So just to irritate her when she comes in, hey, applesauce, what are you doing? She just, it bugs her. Lately, I've been calling her Young Jedi.
It's Young Padawan.
But I don't like that word. It's not as cool as Jedi. So I've been calling her Young Jedi.
Oh wait, I was just reminded of one. Remember we used to call her Geraldine?
Oh God,
yeah.
why?
I used to call her Geraldine because she'd get this high-pitched voice when she was mad about something. And for some of you older guys out there, if you guys remember the comedian Flip Wilson, he used to have a character named Geraldine. I know. Probably Tom at SpiderMonkeys is I remember that. Major Tom might remember it too. What about the other guys? Well, Adam might, but he's probably on his motorcycle somewhere. He's probably not even watching this. He's probably in a corner in Winslow, Arizona.
You stole that from right from me.
But yeah, I forgot about Geraldine. That was funny. She didn't like it though, so we kind of stopped.
Yeah.
And Jay, I don't know. Jay's
very basic.
Just Jay.
I call him Sergeant sometimes because when we're out doing our little military stuff. because he calls me LT sometimes, and I call him Sergeant. But do I call Jay anything else?
Well, you and me both call him something. Can I say
Oh, I know.
Marmot!
Oh, Marmot. When we want to make him mad when he's not listening to me. For some reason, I called him Marmot one day.
I think it was, remember there was that one commercial where it was like for a jacket or something?
I just
It's like, like North Face jacket or something like that. It had a marmot in it.
So he didn't like it at all. So now, like, when he's acting up or he's not listening, like, if I'll call him from his room to come do something or help me with something and he doesn't listen, then me and Emma will go and we'll go, come on, Marmot! Come here, Marmot! And, yeah. He comes bursting out of his room to yell at us, and I'm like, as long as you're here. But anyway, boy, you opened a can of worms with that question over there at Lockdown Productions. But that was it. That was a good one, though. Let's see. The Toy Boy, I just shouted him out last week. I think he had us a question, and I told him he made a comment in one of our things about Action Man because he is from the UK. And he said, I was complaining how hard it is to get Action Man. And he said, oh, I might have to help you with that one day. And, you know, we all say things, and that's fine. But so when I shouted him out, he thanked me, and I said, hey, anybody that says they might be able to help me out with an Action Man, I will shout out on every single video from this day forward. So, if you guys haven't checked out The Toy Boy, go check him out. He's got a great channel over there. Does a lot of Action Man stuff, which is really cool. I was just catching up on some of them last night, when the kids all abandoned me. His question is, other favorite toys from childhood. Now, we had a similar question, I think. Yeah. But that was second favorite toy, I believe, was the question. So,
this more
let's go with something else you guys might have had, because you're still in your childhood, as am I. But something maybe you still have, but you don't play with as much, or kind of just sits on the shelf. Or something like that. Let's start with Jay this time. Jay.
Alright, so obviously Legos, of course. I have a lot of those. Play with those all the time.
I'm going to steal them from you.
Alright, maybe one of these days I'll just start slowly giving them to you as gifts.
No, I'm going to slowly steal them without you noticing.
3 3/4 inch G.I. Joes, of course. Although I've moved away from those because, sure, you can have more of them, but like, you can't do all that with it.
Well, you could, but it's just.
But it's just so small. You could just fit it in the corner of a room.
Yeah,
you can't make a room out of it.
It has its perks. That's why I tell Lockdown Productions all the time.
I also love Hot Wheels, like when we'd make the tracks and like we'd race them down and stuff.
Yeah. I was thinking of that the other day because
what was that channel we watched? Too?
Oh yeah, what was that? Something Drifter.
Yeah.
Guy does all these races with all kinds of stuff.
Him and his grown sons. They do like.
We'll have to shout that out or put it in the links. But yeah, they do Hot Wheels, but they also, the day we caught it, they were racing all their 3 3/4 inch vehicles loaded with Joes, Star Wars,
all kinds of vehicles,
and they were racing them down this huge ramp they built, and they eliminated one by one. And we used to do that with Hot Wheels. You remember that, Emma? We would all get like 4 or 5 cars, and we had the track going down, and we'd race them down. And if you lost a race, you got eliminated, and then kept going. Yeah, I remember. Jeff over at Skunkworks, him and his son have been doing Hot Wheel shorts, Hot Wheel Saturdays and Hot Wheel Friday nights, I think you can do it.
Didn't they do something like the... But I want to say, I think you showed me one of the videos.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of those. Pretty cool. He got attachments and things. And Emma, what about you? Favorite toys from childhood, or stuff that you maybe just don't use as much as you used to?
Well, 18-inch dolls like American Girl and stuff. I don't really play with those that often anymore because, well, normally I would do that with like my sister or Mama, but I just don't really play with them anymore.
Which leads us to ask the question.
No.
Okay. So we built her a giant scale. If you guys are familiar with 18-inch American Dolls, they make little play sets or like diners and stuff.
Clinics.
Scale's never right. A lot of their stuff actually, if you go to Target, what's Target's line of those? Our Generation.
Yeah.
It's OG.
If you go down that road, when you're out looking for action figures, don't just focus on one aisle. You got to shop around because
Barbie exists.
She just got this last Christmas. She was so excited. Probably the coolest set you got for them was that cabin, the little winter cabin.
Oh, that's right.
Because it was more in scale for Barbie, really,
Yeah, it was like
than
really
for the 18-inch.
shorter
So
dolls.
if you're a 1/6 scale person, go down that aisle, because sometimes their stuff, like their little houses and little sets, aren't necessarily the right size for the 18-inch.
We even have that, like, remember we got the one, I think it was like the little camera tripod set and the movie maker, whatever.
But we built her, so one year we built her a scale dollhouse for the 18-inch, which takes up a quarter of her room.
Like an entire wall.
Actually, there's parts of it in our SWAT assault.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we used that as the
so that was the base of it, the upstairs, and the ability to rappel down. So I always tease her that one day, if she doesn't start playing with them again, I'm going to pack them all in boxes and move them out of the room temporarily while we turn that into an indoor G.I. Joe headquarters facility.
I said no.
But you could have your own Barbie veterinarian rescue.
I might.
There, you see, now I got her.
There we go.
I'm saying no.
It's not forever, just for temporary.
Just for temporarily
I
permanent.
mean, if you do it, you're gonna keep it forever, probably.
We'll talk about it later.
It's temporarily permanent.
We would always give it back. Real quick, just because I wrote myself a note, I forgot. Tom from Spider Monkeys brought up a question about a figure, and we know I know exactly what he's talking about. If anybody knows what they're called, put them in the comments. I don't know if they're Toys R Us exclusive, but I saw them at Toys R Us. He saw them at Toys R Us a long time ago. He thinks they were a 20-inch figure. I think they might have been a little smaller, but they were definitely bigger than Joe. They were, in this range, and they were tall, with cloth clothing. There's, I remember seeing the Marine online, but in person I only saw the Sailor. But they're bigger figures, almost like maybe an 18-inch size doll. That's what made me think of it. But and they had removable clothes and stuff. And then a few years later, somebody had it online that they had flocked one of the heads to make it look like a Joe. I spent almost all day, because Tom got me going at like 8 o'clock in the morning. I spent almost all day trying to figure out what that figure is. If you guys know what I'm talking about, put it in the comments down there by the subscribes, the shares, the likes.
You should. What was it? What was the figure we found that was like kind of similar to how you?
Well, the bodies were similar to a big wrestling figure, because they kind of like looked like they were trying to squat down. They were kind of weird, but anyways, I don't want to bog down. Okay, so I have 3 more questions from Adam over at G.I. Joe Lost Chronicles. His was the superhero one, but then he has these 2. We'll try and go through 3 more. This one, just say your thing. This should be a quick one. One place you've never been that you'd like to visit. Emma.
Ireland.
Jameson.
Normandy.
I would go with Ireland on that one, but no, we're going to keep it short. If there was one thing you could change about yourself, what would it be? Emma.
I would want blue eyes instead of brown, so I could look like you.
Oh wow.
Also, blue eyes are also prettier than brown.
You're lucky that you are pretty like your mother and your sister, and you don't look like this. But I can see blue eyes. That'd be cool. But just be happy with who you are, like me and Jay do. I mean, nobody else is gonna like it, so we accept it.
Yeah,
Jay,
we work.
What's your one?
I mean, I'm also kind of saying with her, I'd like blue eyes, but also I would trade some of my height to
All
be
right,
a little
I
more
love you
built.
guys enough. I'm gonna give you each one.
Put the scissors down, man. It's okay.
What?
Well, I love you that much. I was gonna give you
But
each one.
I mean, also, really.
No, we already.
Oh, you mean actually have 2 blue eyes to use, not just like
I don't need them sitting around
or a
now.
keychain.
Or alternatively, make myself a little bit
I
shorter and
misunderstood
a little
the
bit
answer.
better built.
We already talked
Not so
about
lanky and weird.
I know. Okay. You mean tall?
Lanky and weird. I'd rather not be as tall if I could just be a little bit better, all shaped and sized all around.
Okay. For me, I would permanently get rid of my gut. I had gotten rid of it, then it came back, then I got rid of it again during COVID or after COVID, and then now that I've been sitting around unable to do anything, I got it back again. It makes me mad. You guys thought I was going to say my ugly face. No, gut.
No, wait. I know what I want to change about you. The fact that you ramble so much on your videos.
Wow.
Ouch.
That's just rude.
I think
That's true, but rude.
Wait, let me reread the question. Actually, it doesn't say physical trait. She got me.
Oh, man.
Still,
I missed out on just...
Still hurtful.
If I could change one thing about myself, I'd like to be normal for once.
But I love you, applesauce. Anyway.
Yeah, good job, Geraldine. You really got him there.
All right, here we go. Last question from Adam. Actually, the last question completely.
At all.
If you could have a life-size vehicle of any of the Adventure Team vehicles, which one would it be? Emma?
Wait, what?
The Adventure Team vehicle in life-size for your use.
Oh, a Jeep.
She would like a Jeep. Would you like the tan-style Jeep or a green-style Jeep?
Isn't there black?
We would spray paint it black. Okay. Chad?
The Adventure Team Capture Copter.
Excellent answer. I would go with the very less known Adventure Team minivan that me and Jay wanted to.
Sure.
We're gonna make that in 1/6 scale, by the way. We love our minivan. It's like a small tactical SWAT.
It's better than an SUV, and it's not as big as one of those panel vans, so it's more convenient.
Yeah. No, I would probably go with. This is a tough one. I would probably go with the Avenger Pursuit Craft.
The very thing that's behind you over
It could be a car. It could be a boat. It could be a plane. So
we talked about too. The Seawolf would also be kind of cool.
Seawolf will be cool, but you know,
yeah, it's
the
not a plane.
The lake's frozen most of the year, so it wouldn't be as fun. That is all the questions. I hope we got through that. I can't see the timer, but
about on point.
I hope that was fun for you guys. Make sure in the comments you give us more questions for the next one. If you guys want us to keep doing this, maybe I shouldn't have said that because now we might not get any more questions.
You know, we may end up having to make this regular thing, us both on camera, because I think it raises the views.
Wait.
It might.
If you have more questions, just comment them down below and make sure they're better questions that are easier to answer.
Oh, easier questions.
Yeah, like
because these were great questions.
Yeah, they're good questions.
Hard to answer.
It's better when you have to think about them, though.
Make them more simple and straightforward.
I know it's summer and you're done with school, but it's okay to think about questions.
Hey, you're not paying me to think.
But anyways, thanks again. We love that you guys give us questions every week. I'm glad we get a lot of good comments, and some new people are starting to give us questions. So it's not only just Adam all the time who has tons of questions.
He's
no, the
really trying for
the
it.
Axis usually most of the Axis gives us some. I didn't hear from a couple people this week, but that's okay. They're busy doing other stuff.
They're busy people doing busy things.
Major Tom is keeping an eye on things at the border, the northern border, and keeping an eye out for Sasquatch. And Peter's got the boxes that he's going to be divvying out, so we can do our Paul Knapp challenge, which I think we're going to let Em participate in. So we're all thinking about some things for that challenge, and something else I was going to say, but I can't remember, so I'm not. But we are filming another one later to put in the can. So for now, we will say till the next one.